Hi, it's Miss Barb. Come here and have a seat. And I'm outside here on my front porch, and today we're going to have some science time, but as you can tell, I'm outside because this is going to be a messy experiment. And sometimes moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, aunties and uncles, they don't want us to make a mess in our house. So we just watch the experiments on TV. So this is actually an experiment you have to do outside. You have to do it with a grown-up. This is not something you would do on your own. These are things you don't want to touch on your own because you could get hurt. You could make a mess. It's just not the right thing to do. So make a good choice, and if you get permission, then that's fine. And if not, well, we did it here and it was fun, and there's other experiments to do. Well, today we're going to make something. We are going to make elephant toothpaste. Elephant toothpaste! Wonder what that's going to look like. Remember, we're going to be making a prediction. We said a prediction was something. What was it? Oh yeah, you're right. It was what we thought was going to happen. So I predict this will happen. When I add something to this will happen. If I put the paper towel in the rainbow solution, we saw it change, but we were wondering what would happen. And then we observed it. We thought something would happen, then it happened, and we saw. So when you make an observation, it's something that you can observe. It's something you can see, it's something you can hear, it's something you can smell, it's something you can taste, or something you can touch. It's using one of your 5 senses. And we would be using our sense of sight. So we'd be using our eyes, because we don't want to drink this. This isn't something to really brush your teeth with. That's just a silly name they gave it. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and tell you a few things that I have. On the ground, I've already laid out a tablecloth. I had an old one from the Dollar Tree, just one of those plastic ones. And I put a large cookie sheet just in case there's a mess. I have my directions here on my phone so I know how to do this. I always want to have my recipe with us. Oh, if we're making something, we want to have instructions. So how we're going to do this. I have an empty soda bottle here. I have some yeast. This is used when baking bread. It's what makes it rise. I wonder if that's important. I have some dish soap. I wonder what dish soap does. I have to see. You know, Miss Barb, she likes to make it colorful, so I have food coloring. What else do I have? I have hydrogen peroxide. Now, this is the thing that makes it a grown-up has to do this. You can't do this by yourself because hydrogen peroxide is not something you want to play with. I have a measuring cup. I have my measuring spoons. I have a glass container. Well, what we're going to be doing is adding one thing to another and seeing what happens. We're going to cause a reaction. That's when you take 2 or more things and put them together and they change. And sometimes you have a catalyst that speeds it up. You can have something like our yeast. It's going to change it. So I'm going to get out my set of instructions because this is kind of a long process. And I'm going to make sure I have everything I need in my recipe. And I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to take and move my plant first. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure half a cup of hydrogen peroxide. So I want to be specific. I need to know how much. So I'm going to do half a cup. This is a brand new bottle of hydrogen peroxide. And we use this for cleaning up cuts, and it fizzes up, and it makes kind of a reaction. Bubbles. We use this in first aid, so that's where you've probably seen this. And again, this isn't anything you'd want to put on your hands and touch your eyes. You wouldn't want to do that. It would sting. You definitely wouldn't drink it. It's not good for your body. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure. I have these little lines on the side that tell me how much it is. So I have half a cup here of hydrogen peroxide. And I'm going to put that away because I'm done with it. Then I'm going to take a look and see what I need to do next. Oh. What I'm going to do is pour the hydrogen peroxide into my bottle. There we go. I'm very gentle. I won't want to do it too quickly because it'll splash, and it's got a spout on it so it doesn't make a mess. Then the next step in my ingredients that I need is I want to put a big squirt. So I'm going to give a big squirt, and they said swish it around. One more squirt. There we go. So I've added this. Oh, there's my neighbor. Hi, we're doing science time. So there you go. I'm on my front porch. That's why we want to do it outside, and my neighbors are outside, and we're talking about houses and communities and families and all of this. So these are the people you see in your neighborhood. So here is my swished up soap and my swished up hydrogen peroxide in there. And let me see. My phone closed up on me. I want to get it back open. And then it says to add some food color. We like color. We like to see it. Miss Barb likes to do it. I'm going to do green because it's going to match the outside of my house. Let's see. I'm going to put... Ooh, look at that. It's turning a pretty color green. There we go. Ooh, look at that. So we have a nice green color for that. Oh, then we're going to do this. We're going to take some of the yeast, and I got to open up my yeast packet. So I want 1 tablespoon of yeast. And yeast is one of the things that they put into bread that makes it rise. Makes it all fluffy. We didn't have any, it's flat. We've seen flat bread before, but we like that nice puffy bread when we bake here at the house. So I always add my yeast. So I happen to have some at the house. These are all things I keep at my house. And it says it mixed together 1 tablespoon of yeast. So we have here the little one, which is a teaspoon, and then I have my bigger one, a tablespoon. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 big tablespoon of yeast. And that's not exactly a tablespoon. Need to measure a little bit more. A second packet, which is fine. have this in my pantry. If you ever baked bread at home, you know this is what you use. So let's go ahead and fill it up. Now I have my tablespoon here. So I got my tablespoon of yeast, and I'm putting it into a container so you can see it. I'm going to see what's next on my list of ingredients. See what I need to do. My next step, because we always have to follow directions and be careful. In 3 tablespoons of warm water. So I got the warm water out of the sink. So here we go. Why don't you help me do this? We're going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to mix it up, make sure it's all. And I can smell it. It has a certain smell. So if you're baking, you definitely know the smell of yeast when it hits water and starts to be active. So here's what we're going to do. The next step, I've stirred it up. I'm going to pour the yeast mixture into the bottle, and then I'm going to stand back. Ooh. So let's see what happens. Why don't you pause your video right now and make a prediction? Hi, welcome back. You made your prediction? Well, good. Now we're going to take the yeast and pour it into the bottle with the hydrogen peroxide and the food dye and dish soap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this up a little bit better because it seemed a little thick. It seemed like it wasn't going to pour as well. And I wanted to make sure I got all that yeast in, because that yeast is going to be the catalyst. When you take 2 things together, you're going to make a chemical reaction. The soap bubbles is going to help everything disperse for things to move around. And then we're going to see what happens and how it changes. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the ground because this is something I don't want to do on my table. Remember I said I want to be able to see it. So I'm going to aim it down to our tray, and you can see what's going to happen. So we're going to add it to it, and then we're going to stand back. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen too. So I didn't know about this. I've never done this. This is the first time for Miss Barb. So let's see what happens. We're going to see. Oh my goodness! Whoa! Whoa! Wow! Wow! Look at that! Did you expect it to do that? Man! Oh wow, that was cool. It erupted. It changed. Doesn't look anything like it did before. Oh my! It just bubbled over. There we go. Let's see if we can get a better shot of that so you can see up close what that looks like. Look at that. Let's see if I could get over it and show you. There you go. There's a good shot of it. My goodness. Now you've observed it. So when we observe it, we said that we use our eyes. We're going to use our crayons and draw a picture of what we saw. And it's cool. I'm going to tell you, it's cool. Now again, I'm going to repeat. This is not something, here Miss Barb's even going to have a seat. And hey, again, this is something you do not do alone. You do not do indoors, because as we saw, it erupted and it caused a reaction. It changed. Two things came together and they became something completely brand new. So that was pretty cool, huh? Oh, wow. Well, if you're able to do this, fine, with a grown-up. If not, remember, you've seen us do it. We're going to do tons of cool things in school. We've got our science books came in, our little booklets, and we'll have that for you. So we're going to have some great things to do, great experiments this year. Starting next week, we're going to be on that. So we're not going to have Miss Barb doing experiments all the time, but every now and then, you know what? I might pop in and just do my own experiment. All right, y'all. Have a good night. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.